Hey everybody, how's it going? Car insurance guy. I'm back with another one. This is my third video now, so I'll give you a quick rundown of what this whole thing is about. But if you really want to get the details of what's going on here, I would go back and watch my first or second video, and that'll catch you up to speed. But basically, I was involved in a car accident that was caused by an uninsured motorist. Never had gone through that before, so once I was kind of in it and going through it, I found out that a lot of times in these situations, the person who carries insurance who did nothing wrong is the one who financially loses in this situation. So I made a kind of a rant video about just being annoyed about it, and these are follow-up videos basically, but I'm excited about this one. So in the beginning, my first two videos, I basically just had to make a video explaining what happened, and why it's frustrating, and why I think it's wrong. So my first two videos are just me ranting, and I'm frustrated because I got hit by an uninsured driver, and just kind of voicing the frustrations. Now I feel like I'm finally getting to the fun part. I feel like I'm in phase two of this thing. Phase one was just ranting and telling you what the problem was. Phase two now, I can actually get busy and start to do the things that I started this YouTube channel for. So the whole goal of this YouTube channel is to bring awareness to the fact that uninsured drivers are driving around and costing the people who did nothing wrong, the victims, money. And the victims lose money and a lot of times don't get reimbursed. So basically that's the situation, but now I can, rather than coming on here and just having an attitude and ranting about it, now I can start to do the work of, like, I want to get some laws changed and improve this. So that's what I'm on now. In the beginning, I didn't know anybody. I didn't have any like attorney connections or nothing like that. I didn't really have the information, never gone through this situation before. So I just kind of prayed on it. I'm like, God, I need some help with this one. Please put me in contact with the right people, or some people who can help me. So, and I do that for, pretty much any time I need to solve a problem. But so I did that, and then I got a call back from an attorney that I had reached out to, and super helpful. Took all the time to answer my questions, and it was super helpful. And I'm still in contact with him, but I don't need to be bugging him right now. Also, so I asked God, please send me the people that can help me. And I got an email back from the senator's office. I live in Illinois, so I reached out to one of the senators, had some correspondence, and I got a helpful email back from them. So now I feel like I've learned a lot about the laws about insurance, what insurance covers, and I'm learning a lot, but I'm still getting new pieces, and now I'm just kind of taking all this information and putting the puzzle together. The email that I got from the senator's office was pretty helpful, so there's just some information in there. I'm going to read the email just in case maybe I'll say something that you guys didn't know, and if you guys go through this, you'll have this information. And also the senator's office that's been talking to me and helping me, the lady who I speak to there is one of the nicest people ever. She's so helpful. I'm very happy about this senator's office. They have been wonderful. But anyway, this email from them says, through Section 143A of the Insurance Code, insurers are required to provide coverage for uninsured motorist events up to $25,000 per person and $50,000 per accident, but consumers can opt to buy additional uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage beyond those limits. So I take that as, if you have insurance, part of your policy is uninsured motorist coverage is in there. It's $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident. If you want to have more uninsured motorist coverage beyond those limits, then you would add that to your policy. The next sentence, and I believe this email, this was not typed by the senator's office. They reached out to the Department of Insurance had the Department of Insurance get back to them, and they're basically sending me what the Department of Insurance told them. They say, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to prevent people from breaking the law. Consumers can protect themselves from this type of loss by purchasing collision and or uninsured property damage coverage. Both protect a policyholder's vehicle when damage occurs. Okay, I agree with that. There's one thing in here when it says, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to prevent people from breaking the law. I totally agree. I don't have that ability either. But when you catch the people breaking the law, I think there should be things in place. There should be a penalty in place that prevents the person, or at least deters them from doing it again. So you catch somebody driving without insurance, you should do something to them, and hopefully the thing that you do prevents them from continuing to drive without insurance. Like writing them a ticket. Maybe they get the ticket and say, oh, it sucks that I have to pay this money. I don't want a second ticket, therefore I'm not going to drive without insurance anymore. That's cool. It says, if the policyholder's own insurance company pays for a not-at-fault accident, the company may choose to pursue subrogation against the at-fault party, which basically means, like in my case, I'm the victim. My insurance company had to pay to get my car fixed because the at-fault driver didn't have insurance. So they had to pay for a not at-fault accident. Now that my insurance company had to pay for that, they will sue the at-fault driver to try to get their money back. So it says, may choose to pursue subrogation against the at-fault party. In accordance with 215 ILCS 5-143B, the insurance company is required to first make the policyholder, me, whole if subrogation efforts are successful and pertain to a collision loss payment. So basically what that means is when my insurance company, the not at fault insurance company, sues the at-fault driver, if they happen to get anything, if they get a payment out of that, then before they make themselves whole, they would have to make me whole. I would have to get paid back what I lost. I've also been explained, from somebody else, explained to me that if the insurance company, my insurance company, sues and gets a payment, it's based on what they get. So if they get 100% of the loss, then I would get 100% of what I lost. If they get 80% of the loss, then I would get 80% of what I lost. So this is telling me that without me suing the at-fault driver, I could still get reimbursed for what I've lost because my insurance company is going to sue the at-fault driver. So that's pretty cool. I'll take that. And in my specific case, I've kind of come to grips with, I believe my case is probably going to go the same way that most other people's cases go. Because the at-fault driver, I don't think has much money. So I'm guessing that I will not be reimbursed for the money that I've lost. And I don't know what happens to my insurance company getting reimbursed for the money they lost. But I kind of think I'm not going to get paid back. And that's okay because luckily I'm blessed enough that I can afford that. If I don't get anything back, me and my family will still be okay. We're still going to live great lives. So that's a blessing. So the whole point of this YouTube was to kind of bring awareness to this, and my goal is to get laws changed. But I've accepted that me doing this is probably not going to help me in my case. I'm really just doing this now because I see that it's an injustice. I feel that it's wrong, and I want to change something that I noticed that is wrong. So it's really more about changing it for the next person and paying it forward. It's really kind of like I want to be the change that I want to see in the world. So the effort that I put into this now isn't so much to save myself money or, complain that I got into a car accident. I want to get laws changed around uninsured motorist accidents and people driving without insurance I want it to benefit the victim, and I don't want there to really be a scenario where it benefits the criminal, where it benefits the uninsured driver. And that's what I'm going for. I realize it's probably not going to help me in my case, but if I can get it done, then it will help all of the other people in the future who get hit by uninsured drivers. So, yeah, it's not really about me anymore. It's about being the change I want to see in the world. I don't think it's okay for someone to drive their car without insurance, because right there you're breaking the law, but then you cause somebody else property damage. I don't think the at-fault driver should be able to get out of it because they're broke. And so that's what I'm trying to get changed. So I guess the goal, or here's the situation. There's two ways to catch an uninsured driver. A police officer could just pull him over for a routine traffic stop. No car accident happened. They pull the car over, say, let me see license, registration, and proof of insurance. The driver says, hey, I don't have insurance. Okay, now that police officer has just caught somebody driving without insurance. So there should be a penalty for that, even though a car accident didn't happen. The second way is a car accident does happen, and you're sorting it all out, and you find out that the at-fault driver did not have car insurance. So there's two ways to catch them. It could be a routine traffic stop, or it could be a car accident that they caused. There should be penalties for both. So right now, if a police officer pulls somebody over and finds that that driver doesn't have insurance, the way that I've been told it goes pretty much every time is they write that person a ticket for not having insurance, and then that person is free to go. So they get to drive their car away from being pulled over with no insurance. And that seems crazy. I actually had somebody contact me and about this specific thing, and explained like a hypothetical situation to me, and said, if that happened, like, could you imagine? So here's what they said to me. Imagine a police officer pulls somebody over, they go up, give me license, registration, proof of insurance, and they find out that the driver does not have insurance. So they write them, and you don't have insurance, write you a ticket, now you're free to go, just pay your ticket. Imagine if that uninsured driver drove away from being pulled over, got into an accident, and killed somebody. And so the person that was telling me this is like, don't you think if that happened, that the person, like the family of the person who died, don't you think not only could they sue the uninsured driver for, causing the accident and killing somebody, but I mean, what they were saying is, do you think that person's family, the person who died, could they sue, I guess either like the city or the police department or the police officer who let that uninsured driver go? So you write them a ticket, but then they drive their uninsured car away from the accident. So if they drive away, or not the accident, from getting pulled over. So if they drive away from getting pulled over and just happen to get into an accident and kill somebody, it's what they were explaining to me is, it's like the police officer who wrote him that ticket and let him go knows that when he drives away from getting that ticket, he still doesn't have insurance. So like, you just let somebody go on the road that does not have insurance. So when they go and cause an accident, should the police officer be liable for that at all? And I don't know, but pretty crazy situation. And even though it's extreme, that could totally happen, like easily. So, I mean, that makes me think maybe there's some incentive for the police to want this to change too. And so here's my idea. A police officer pulls somebody over, finds out they're uninsured. I'm kind of thinking, now you can't let that person drive away, because what if they cause an accident? So I think you catch somebody driving with no insurance, the automatic thing should be they get a ticket for driving with no insurance, and you impound the vehicle, because you can't let them drive away. What if they hit somebody? What if they kill somebody? You can't let them drive away knowing that they don't have insurance. So I think I'm thinking it should be automatic. You impound the vehicle, that person does not have the ability to drive away with no insurance. And then to get their car back, so their car is now impounded. To get their car back, they should have to show proof of insurance. I believe you have to carry liability as a minimum. And that's saying if you cause a car accident, the liability would pay to fix the other person's vehicle that you damaged. So, I mean, you got to show proof of insurance. If it's a law that you must have liability coverage at a minimum, then if you don't have it, you should get your car impounded and you should not get it back until you can prove that you have that coverage. Also, in an accident. So an accident's different because routine traffic stop, no property damage happened. In a car accident, property damage did happen. And the person who's liable for that does not have insurance. So it's like, if you can't get your money out of the person, then who do you get your money from? So I think in that case, if an uninsured driver causes a car accident, then they should be arrested immediately. The car, I guess the car is probably damaged. Their car, not my car. But they should be arrested. And then part of being arrested is they would have to go to court. And when they go to court, that's when you should figure out the repayment plan, the payment that the uninsured driver is going to make to the victim so that the victim can be put back whole. And if we did it that way, there would be no instances where an uninsured driver costs somebody money, costs the victim money, and the victim just has to eat it and deal with it and not be able to get reimbursed. And that, I think, would change things, because if somebody's car got impounded and they couldn't get it back until they show proof of insurance, one, you took that person off the road, now they're not driving around with no insurance. And that is how it should go. I mean, it solves all of the problems. You know, if uninsured driver damages your property, well, it's still their fault. It's unfortunate that maybe they're broke and they don't have insurance, so now this problem falls solely on them, but it was their choice to drive without insurance. And, you know, you got to stick it to the criminal. You can't stick it to the victim. So that's kind of how I think this whole thing should go. I'm not doing this anymore because I want to help myself. I'm doing this because I want to help all victims of uninsured motorist accidents. Because there's no reason why victims should lose their money because somebody else chose to break the law. So that's pretty much what it is. And now the senator's office, I've been talking to them. They're going to put me in contact with the people that I would talk to about getting laws changed. I'm going to have to go through that whole journey, you know, and I've never done this before. I did actually see one other thing that I want to pull up real quick that pertains to this. So I looked up, you know, how do you get laws changed? And let me find the part, but yeah. It says, creating or changing Illinois state law can be a complex and time-consuming process. Statutory changes require passage by the Illinois legislature and approval of the governor. That one's a little scary for me. If you don't live in Illinois, then maybe you don't know. But Illinois has a governor that nobody in Illinois likes. There you go. So what that is saying is no matter what I dream up and however I want to get this changed, when I come up, you know, like when I present that, it would have to be approved by the governor. And that could be a problem with the governor that we have. So I don't know what that does to me, but the second I read that sentence, I was like, ooh, that's going to be a problem. And it's really not in my best interest to come on here and say anything negative about our governor, because right now I find myself in a situation where maybe I need his help. So it wouldn't help me to say anything bad about him. But literally, I don't know one person in the world who is a fan of this governor. Everybody I know dislikes him. And it's for a good reason. I mean, he's done a pretty atrocious job for us, and nobody's happy about it. So we'll see what happens there. But I could see areas where, like, I think police departments would probably like what I'm saying, especially if they could be held accountable for letting an uninsured driver go. I don't know if they can or not, but that would get them out of it, which would be nice for them. So basically, that's where I'm at. Car's getting fixed, everything's fine. I'm not really complaining about, like, whatever loss I might experience. Me and my family recover just fine, and we're going to be fine. We'll live great lives, and this won't affect us. But I'm still going to move forward with trying to get these laws changed and talk to everybody who I can talk to, because it's wrong. I found something that happens that's just completely wrong, and I want to change it, even if the benefit of that change isn't directly for me. It's going to benefit anybody in the future who gets hit by an uninsured driver. And trust me, there's going to be a large number of people in the future who get hit by an uninsured driver, because there's uninsured drivers driving around everywhere. I mean, ever since I got hit by one, all I hear about is people getting hit by uninsured drivers. And I mean, my story is pretty much over. I told my story in my first two videos. If you're interested in hearing it, go listen to those, because I don't really feel like doing any more complaining about it. I did my job, told you what happened, told you why I think it's wrong, so I don't need to do that anymore. I'd just be repeating myself. But now it's fun for me, because now I'm getting into why I started this YouTube channel and why this whole thing kicked off in the first place. I've found a situation where the wrong person gets screwed. It's like the criminal gets to go free, the victim has to foot the bill, and that's what I want to change. So now it's fun, now I get to go talk to all these different people. I'm learning all these different things about the law. I'm putting this big ass complex puzzle together and figuring the whole thing out, and it's fun for me because I know I'm going to get some results that help people. And so that's the goal. I'm happy to be doing it. And so that's really the update. We're changing course. This is no longer about my specific situation. This is about everyone who gets hit by an uninsured driver. And we're going to start taking the steps necessary to get this changed, so that the criminal gets, learns their lesson like a criminal should, and the victim gets put back whole like the victim should. And again, if you guys have any information that would help me, anything like that, if an attorney sees this and has some information, anybody really, if you know something that will help me in this situation, contact me and give me that information, because I want to know it. And I've still been hearing stories left and right of people getting hit by uninsured motorists, and I'll probably start making some videos explaining those stories, because my story compared to some of them that I've heard from other people, my story is nothing. And I feel blessed that the only thing that happened to me is my truck got damaged. I'm okay. I didn't have any of my kids in the car. My wife wasn't with me. That kind of worked out the best that it could. But man, I hear some stories from other people getting hit by an uninsured driver that are just terrible. Like, I just met I didn't ask the guy how old he was, but I'm just looking at him. The guy had to be like 70 or 80. He's an older guy. And he's telling me he got hit by an uninsured driver. There were 4 people in the uninsured driver's car. And he said that he got hit. The uninsured driver was probably going like 50 miles an hour. So he's cruising. He said the uninsured driver got ejected from the vehicle, got thrown through the windshield, thrown onto the street, and all that, and is in critical condition. So, I mean, I hope the person's okay. I hope they recover and they end up okay. But if they wouldn't have been out breaking the law, driving without insurance, they wouldn't be in critical condition right now. And I'm thinking like, man, the guy who got hit, the victim who did nothing wrong, he's like 70 or 80 years old. And he's walking a little slow. I could tell he's banged up, but for a guy that old, I'd say he's doing okay. Um, but yeah, I hear something like that, and I'm like, holy shit, that's nothing compared to that's crazy compared to what happened to me. What happened to me is nothing. So I'm basically over any frustration I had about my accident. Everything's going to be, even if it works out, worst case scenario for me and my family are still going to be just fine. So that's a blessing, and we're moving on. But the injustice of getting hit by an uninsured driver is still there, and that's what I'm trying to fix, not just for me, but for everybody. And when I get this done, there shouldn't be an instance anymore where you get hit by an uninsured driver and you experience all the financial loss while they just get to go do it again. So that's where we're at. Like I said, if you have some information that could help me out, please get in contact with me and let me know. But now, this where it gets fun for me, because I get to get busy doing some stuff now. This is for me and for you. If you are one of the people who pay for insurance and you don't want to pay for the people who don't drive with insurance, you don't want to lose money because of the people who choose to not get insurance, then what I'm doing will help you. And I'm glad to do it. This is kind of a fight that needed to happen, and I'm the right guy for the job. So thank you for listening to the story. When I have some more updates, I'll let you know what's going on. But that's where we're at right now. The senator's office is going to put me in contact with the people who can help me get some laws changed. I'm going to have a meeting with those people where we sit down. I tell them, this is what happened to me. Here's some of the stories I've been told from other people. This is where it goes wrong because it affects the victim and not the at-fault person. And I'm not going to meet with those people to complain and rant about what happened to me, but rather like, this is what happens and this is why it's not fair, and this is my idea to change it. Here's why my idea is better than what we're currently doing. And we'll see where it goes. And if I'm able to record that conversation, I think that'd be pretty cool to post that video, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, I'll keep you posted. Car insurance guy signing out.